Hi everybody. In typical talk and drive fashion, I screwed up the first take, being horribly out of focus, which is a good excuse to do it all again. Welcome to drifting. We got some Rights Up burgers there. Been planning to go there for quite a while, haven't managed yet. Brazilian burgers. Anyway, what's this all about? So, you may have seen some videos already. Quite a departure from regular racing, adding some drifting to Automobilista. With a 6-cylinder, turbocharged, lots of power Ute. It's still work in progress, so some of the physics are still being tweaked. How much power do we want to give these cars and other things. So yeah, work in progress video. Quite a nice configuration here of Mendig Flugplatz. I didn't have a handbrake mounted to my rig, so here is my handbrake. It's a load cell bolted to my frame, and if I pull it, so I have my own pressure sensitive handbrake thingy. Wait, this isn't drifting, is it? Sorry, was in race mode. Oh, yeah. Have to press the clutch when you yank the handbrake. Let's do a figure of 8 here. Now, I will admit that it helps a lot that I've got the force feedback system working so well and triple screen, because a lot of the time I'm looking out of the side windows. And the force feedback will try to find the optimum steering angle for your drifting, and then it's just up to you to do some minor adjustments to steering lock and throttle, or big adjustments, and the result can be quite smooth. But it is a little tricky to get used to, because you don't want to be sawing on the wheel and the car will sort of get upset from all those inputs you're giving it. So learn how to trust it and not do it with super big throttle jabs and steering inputs, but once you're more comfortable with it, the inputs become smaller and the drifts become a lot smoother. You see how the steering just applies its own opposite lock. I'm just gonna toy around a little bit. There's also a scoring system in development that sort of looks at how crazy you are and awards you points likewise, based on your craziness. Clutch in, handbrake, there it goes. Do a little transition here. Downshift. Around this biplane. Let's do it on a circle. See that the inputs are quite slow and precise, so I'm not doing that. Well, you can, but it takes the beauty away from the drift. So start finish. quite a long car. I do use the handbrake. Oh, 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 oh. It's a relatively easy way to enter a drift, because you can just keep it pulled until you want to start powering out of the corner again. Whereas using Scandinavian flicks, which I tend to find more pure, the timing is critical, and with the handbrake you can kind of get the same effect without having to be able to speak English. So yeah, the handbrake makes it easier, but I do still think it's the most sort of natural and beautiful way to not use it. Same with clutch kicks. They are a little bit useful, but since we have a turbocharged engine, this isn't enough to spool it up, so it might work, but a bit of handbrake and Scandinavian flick is how I like it. It was a well-timed flick. Lift every time. Oh. Ugh. If you want to transition, it's a bit hard to explain really. I don't really know what I'm doing, but it feels like when you want to transfer from left to right, that it's sort of, the car starts to feel like a spring almost, that you can sort of wind it up, and then by lifting and a bit of steering you have a lot of momentum going the other way, but I've got no idea how to explain that properly, let alone do it properly. That's fast. Yeah, make it. That's quite sideways. So let's do some more figure of eights of figures. So small inputs, smooth slides. Slowly getting dizzy. So steer a bit to the left. Let go of the throttle. Lift and throttle again. That's sort of the... I don't really know what I'm doing, but it works. Lift, throttle. Lift, throttle. Oh, too much. So I keep adding power to these things, which makes them a little tricky, but also able to do drifts in any gear. What we currently have in the beta is a bit less powerful. Power lets you make up for a lack of talent in my case, so I quite like that. oh, scary. Yeah, that was going slightly optimistically quick. On the grass. Force feedback with slight interference from myself. I meant to do that. Yep. See, that's what I mean. I had the handbrake pulled quite far before the turn. You can still balance the car with the steering. A little bit, anyway. Until you're too sideways, then dragging the handbrake like dragging the rear end is quite possible. That was mighty close. Ow. Ow. In my mind I always do those fast corners perfectly, but that's not enough revs for drift news. So there's always a little bit of a touchy subject when you talk about drifting, because the racing purists might not be so positive towards their drifting friends, and partly I understand. I don't like sort of the sugary energy drink vibe that surrounds drifting, and the screaming and the scoring and I don't care too much about that, but it's legit as far as racing goes. You got regular cars, well, kinda, with just more power and steering lock, and there's quite a bit of skill involved doing it also smoothly and precisely. And when you're racing you don't typically do anything remotely like that, but having that car control and knowing what to do and how to make the car do things that you don't want to do, you kind of also do the opposite, and then you're out in Senna. Well, it doesn't work like that, but it does give you skills. And sure, burning rubber is pointless, but it's certainly not just for kids and people who aren't into racing. Run out of steering lock, that's quite rare. It's very long, this car. I keep forgetting. Oh, yeah. How am I gonna save myself here? Gear is probably the best here, if you avoid bogging down. Ooh, almost bogging down. And spinning it. So yeah, drifting. I find it quite a lot of fun and satisfying when you don't just sort of ham-fist it together, but when you start to be more smooth and precise with it. There will be a few more cars, also rear-wheel drive Mitsubishi. And some more tracks you can drive it on, of course. Other than the super sensitive steering, because the tires are pointing almost 70 degrees left and right. It's quite a normal car if you drive it normally. Just requires a lot less steering lock because of the steering rack being so super direct. And as I'm not sure if I mentioned, but the physics are quite normal, just different suspension. Make the tires nice and parallel. Die. Yep. Stall, die. So there's nothing sort of strange about the tires or the physics. It's just that the steering angle and the power allow this sort of driving. Do you notice the downslope of the skill level in this video? I sure do. Let's end on a high then. I'm being as smooth as possible. Slow as possible with my inputs. So there you go guys, drifting Automobilista. Quite a cool addition if you ask me. Quite different. And one hand, easy. Thank you very much for watching. I'll just continue getting dizzy for a little while longer. Two finger. On the lock stops, almost.